Greetings everyone. Today we're going to explore writing a linear equation from a table. Now we do have a foldable for this. That would be very helpful while taking notes. And know that you actually have worked on all of the topics in this lesson. You have found slope from a table in the last unit. Please see that video if needed. And in the last few sections, we've been writing linear equations. So today we're combining the two. You do have these steps in front of you on your foldable. Specifically today, we're going to talk about from a table. The first thing is you're going to find the slope between those 2 points. So if I'm given a table like 1, 2, 5, 9, review, this is a review. Remember we find the change in the y's, the change in the x's, and we write it as such, change in y over change in x. As always, if you can reduce the slope, simplify it, please do so. Step 2, you're going to use the slope and one of the points to write in point-slope form. Today, that's where we're really going to concentrate, is those 2 steps. Now, occasionally, we might work towards this step 3. Step 3 is we might have to isolate y, which means we might have to distribute and then add or subtract. But we're going to stick to step 1 and 2 to get us going. So let's use these examples to help us understand. First, we want to find our slope. Slope is change in y over change in x. If you need help with that, please see my slope video. The jump from 4 to 6 is negative 10. We're decreasing by 10. The jump from negative 3 to negative 2 is a positive 1. The y, the change in y goes on top, the change in x goes on bottom, and we simplify if we can. Now to bring it to what we're doing in this unit, we're writing linear equations, and we're going to write in point-slope form. Please see my previous videos to help you understand this layout. Remember, the slope always goes in front of the x, and then we look at a point. So let's start with the slope. The number I just found goes in front of the x. Now here's where you have a choice, similar to graphs. We want to pick a point. Now because we don't have a large dot or something obvious to pick from, we have 2 options here in our table. Just pick one of them. It doesn't matter which one, but pick an xy combo. So if my x value is negative 3, I'm going to write x plus 3. If my y says positive 4, I'm going to write negative 4. Remember the special rule from our last unit that in point-slope form, we change the signs of our point. Now for today, we're just going to write in point-slope form and call it good. Let's try this again. Remember, I don't need all the jumps, I just need one set. So the jump from 4 to 1 is negative 3. The jump from 3 to 2 is negative 1. Slope is the change in y over the change in x. Remember, rise over run. Now I can divide that. A negative by a negative is a positive, and we have a 3. Let's write our point-slope form. Our slope that we just found always gets written in front of the x. Next, we need to pick a point. I'm just going to pick the first one because it's first, but really you could pick any of the 4. If my x is positive 3, I write x minus 3. If my y is positive 4, I write y minus 4. I have my point and my slope form. Let's try again. If I look 11 to 15, that would be adding on 4. And 1 to 2 would be adding on 1. Now, if I write my slope, it would be change in y over change in x. And we can divide that. 4 divided by 1 is 4. Let's write our equation. This is point-slope form equation of a line. My slope in slope, intercept, or point-slope form is always written in front of the x. Next, I need to pick a point. I'm going to pick the first one, but you can pick any point. If my x is positive 1, I write negative 1. If my y says positive 11, I write y negative 11. Now let me show you what I mean when I say pick any point. Let's say I pick the last point. Okay, we would still set it up. Our friend's setup would be the same as ours. The 4 would still go in front of the x, but watch what happens. If my x says positive 5, I write negative 5. If my y says positive 27, I write negative 27. Both are correct. Both are the same line, just through different points. Now, this one, there's a little bit of a strategy. You could pick any set of numbers to find the change, but you know what? I'm going to pick the last two because they're positive, right? It's easier for me to think through that. So 1 to 5 is adding 4. 0 to 2 is adding 2. So it doesn't matter which ones you pick, just make sure they're together, right? Don't pick like the top 2 and then the bottom 2. They need to be together. So my slope, change in y over change in x, that divides nicely to a 2. Let's create our point-slope form equation. Our slope is always written in front of our x. I'm going to pick the middle point this time. If my x says 0, I could write plus 0. I could write subtract 0. Or I could write nothing at all by the x. 0 is nothing. I'm going to leave it as nothing. My y, though, however, says positive 1, so I write y negative 1. Special cases. Take a look at that table. So first thing I notice is, oh, change is 1, change is 0. Let me draw a quick little sketch to show you what this looks like. 1, 2 would be here and 1, 3 would be here. This would be a vertical line. What axis does that vertical line cross? It's slicing the x-axis. At what number? At 1. You guys, here's the thing. If all the x numbers are the same, that's your equation. You don't have to tell me the slope. You don't have to tell me point slope. You don't have to tell me slope intercept because I don't need the slope, right? If it's special, it should be easier. It's the letter, number, done. Let's try that idea again. Uh-oh, I notice all the y's are 4. All the y's are 4. That's because if I was to draw a little sketch, negative 6, 4 is here, negative 3, 4 is here, they would connect and be horizontal. They slice the y-axis at 4. Now you don't need a sketch. You don't need to find the slope. You don't need any information. You just need letter, number, done, if they're all the same. Alrighty, that's our lesson for today. Make sure you check out Google Classroom to see what your task is at hand. Let me know if you have any questions, and until next time, have a good one.